Steve Rotelli, and this is where I really mess up, Raphael Zeligian.
Hello, Governor. It's been reported that it's anywhere from 50,000 to 350,000 people who did not register the weapons in the state of Connecticut. I was wondering if you knew a more exact number to that, and if what you're planning on doing with these people, because it's such a large number. Either you're going to enforce this law or repeal it.
Well, it's not going to be repealed, so I suspect it will be enforced. Ultimately, that choice is up to the people the number of people who did or did not register their guns. They certainly were given an opportunity to do that. If they didn't avail themselves of that, then there potentially are consequences to be paid. But I hope that they'll bring themselves into compliance with the law. Thank you.
What if they don't? That's
a
large amount of people.
I'm not a police officer.
You can't get them in the courts.
Sure. I'm not a police officer. That's not my job.
Thank you very much. Raphael? Hope that's right. And then followed by former mayor of the town, Susan E.
Hello. Hello, Governor. How are you? My name is Raphael Zeligian. I was born and raised in Israel. I came to this country in 1979. I read a lot of the politics of this country, politics of the Middle East. And when you announced, you know, it's going to be maybe part questions, part comments. It's not like, you know, putting down or being combative. When you announced on April 4th, I remember not those exact words. Now all the residents of the state of Connecticut can feel safer. And I look at the TV screen and I go, I look at the tube and I say, really, Governor, you're a smart guy. Who are you kidding? The next day, a couple guys get popped in your head, get shot in your head. Okay? Now, the fact is, okay, that in states that have a strict gun law, the crime rate is sky high. Chicago, Washington, D.C., where states that allow weapons to be carried are more liberal, crime is lower, and that's a fact. Those are statistics, let me finish.
But you're making a lot of points. So let me, if you want to have a discussion, I'm happy to have a discussion.
Thank you.
So Chicago's not a state. Chicago's a city. And so let me share with you, and you know, I actually don't know the number, the Illinois number, but I know that the number in Texas is extremely high. You're much more likely to be a victim of a serious crime in Texas, you know, adjusted for population, than you are in the state of Connecticut. And Texas has some of the most liberal laws. So I just want to point that out to you, that may be one weakness of your argument. I'll point this out to you. In the state of Connecticut this past year, for only the 4th time in the last 40 years, we had less than 100 homicides. So let me say that again. This past year, for only the 4th time in the last 40 years, we had less than 100 homicides in the state.
Now, is this, Governor, because the law was enacted in April 4th, that all of a sudden people stopped getting shot?
No, you know what? We've been enforcing the laws.
Doesn't make sense.
No, let's take this on. We've been enforcing the laws that need to be enforced, and you make improvements in laws on an ongoing basis. So some of the things that we've done is to bring better law enforcement to places like New Haven, Hartford, and Bridgeport, 3 cities that actually are responsible for 75%, generally speaking, of all homicides in our state. Now, I will tell you, as a former urban mayor, and I was mayor of Stamford for 14 years, one of the things that we found that when we could recover a gun that was used in a crime, the last place we could frequently trace it to was a state that had almost no gun laws. The loopholes that don't exist in Connecticut, for instance, where you could go to a gun show and buy a gun without a background check. We need to close that. There's no reason that none of us can get on a plane without somebody doing a background check on us. But we could expect to walk into a gun show in Virginia or Mississippi or Alabama and buy a gun without anyone doing a background check on us. We just heard from Fort Hood yesterday that the person who committed that crime just purchased a gun in the last week or so that he could not have purchased in the state of Connecticut.
Governor, you're not allowed to carry in bases. Does this make sense? You're a soldier and you're not allowed to carry a weapon in your base? I come from Israel. People walk home from their base. You land in Israel, you see girls, soldiers, boy soldiers, with their M16s, with their tavors, with their weapons, and nobody looks at it as like, wow, what is this?
So I think we fundamentally have a disagreement about guns. I think we fundamentally have a disagreement about guns. I respect your opinion. You're absolutely entitled to have that opinion. I understand that. But I know that if you ask people in Connecticut whether they believe there should be universal background checks, the vast majority of people agree that there should be. I know that just in a recent survey in March, with respect to the new gun laws, 57% approved, 39% did not approve. 57% is a pretty good majority. I mean, you're a long-term resident of Israel. Try to think of all the times that the government actually had the support of 57% of the voters, one party. You can't find one. So, you know, we're developing a consensus. We're developing a consensus. Listen, I know that you're not living in Israel, you're living here. So it's great to be with you.
You know, they say conservatively that there's over 200,000 people that refuse, they know that the law is in effect, that refuse to register their guns. Because they say, most of it is already registered. What is the sense?
Well, if it's already registered, then they're compliant.
And in fact, I asked a state cop, I asked him, what are you going to do if you get an order to walk into a house? He goes, tomorrow. He goes, if it's tomorrow, I'm taking a day off.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Susan, followed by Kevin.